Hello, welcome back to another Eurovision video here in Basel. My name is Nina Schofield, singer-songwriter, vocal coach and session musician, and I have flown all the way to Basel from the UK to watch this year's contest, and I'm so excited to be reporting to you from just after having seen the first dress rehearsal for semi-final 1. So semi-final 1 saw 15 acts who are all vying for a slot for the final on Saturday, and as well as that we also had a few of the big 5. Those are the automatic qualifiers that go straight through to the final. What I want to do today is talk through what I saw at this semi-final dress rehearsal. It's a very different setup to when there's a whole arena of people watching, so that's one thing to bear in mind in terms of sound and reception and all that kind of stuff. But I want to talk you through what I saw anyway, and also give you my top 5, my 5 favourites, the ones that I think will go straight through to the final, or that I would be sad if they didn't. So let's take a look first of all at a bit of a recap, and then we'll get to that top 5 a little bit later. So on screen now I'm showing you all 18 acts that we saw today in the order that we saw them, starting with Iceland. Iceland put on a really fun show. They're a great starter act actually. You kind of need the set list, if you want to call it that, to move in a certain way, and I felt like Iceland kicked things off with great energy. Then we had Poland, and I absolutely love Justyna and her entry. We'll definitely talk a little bit more in depth about that. Her energy and her vibe and her high vocals in a live situation, just fantastic. Next was Slovenia, and Slovenia's entry was our first ballad of the evening, and it was a really nice tempo change. Again, I always think it's so key. Wherever you end up within this list of songs is so important. It really does have an effect on the overall vote at the end. So here was our ballad at number 3, and more of a sentimental vibe with this, which you'd expect with a ballad, and lots of lovely twinkly lights to look forward to. Then Estonia came on, and of course Estonia's entry is a favourite, or certainly up there. It's definitely going to be on the left-hand side of the leaderboard, I think, on that final night. And this is such a fun entry, and in person and just soaking up the atmosphere that they create with this, it's amazing. Yes, it has all the fun and all the elements that draw you in as a Eurovision fan that you want to see just to have a good time. But also, I think that I really took away from this performance that he is a polished performer and he has so much to offer on stage. So this is definitely going to be one to look out for. Next was one of our big 5. So this was Spain's entry, and I've done a full reaction to this as well. I'll leave all the links to reactions that I've done for the entries this year in the description box down below if you're interested in watching. I think this was fantastic live. If it wasn't already going through to the final, I think that this would definitely get voted through. I think that Melody has such a brilliant way with her vocals on stage. She has strength and power and determination, and she is a fantastic performer live. And the next entry really surprised me. I don't know what I was expecting with Ukraine and Ziferblat, but in person, soaking in the female vocals and the male vocals here, it was incredible. The atmosphere that was created with this entry really made it stand out. So this is one to watch for sure. Bara, Bada, Bastu, Bastu. Everybody knows this song. This has to be one of the favourites for this year. Sweden's entry, and I have to say that this was a real highlight. I have been singing this song the whole journey back to my hotel. When I tell you that the audience, what little audience there was, we're talking the delegation and the media that was invited, still the arena erupted. This is a clear favourite, and it was just as fantastic live as it is on the video, online, in person, next level. Next up we had Portugal, the band vibes that were going on stage. Of course, all the different entries have their different staging, and when you have more of a band thing going on, it changes the dynamic on stage. So this had that more live feel to it, which again has its difficulties, I think, purely from the fact that not all instruments on stage are live. The vocals are, of course, but you'll have things like unplugged guitars and stuff like that. If you're keeping an eye out, you can see that when you're watching. But this was that band style kind of a song, and you need that in Eurovision. I feel like we get a good solid number of those each year. Next was Norway with Kyle, who I just think brings the energy. I loved the lighting, I loved all the pyrotechnics, the fire that we had coming out from the stage towards us. Nice and warm. It was fantastic, I have to say, and I feel like he warmed his vocal up as he went on. I'm quite sure that by the time we reach the actual semi-final tomorrow night, as of when I'm filming this, that his voice will just be in that perfect position, because there are all those super high notes within this, but he held his own and he just brings such great energy into a fantastic performance. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this one, and I think that it will qualify. Okay, for Belgium, next up, you need to put your sunglasses on when you're watching this one. I am telling you, I literally put my sunglasses on. Strobe lights, it makes sense, you know, red strobe lights. It was a lot of lighting. If you're someone who's actually going to see this live and you're going to be in the arena tomorrow, you might want to look away. I don't know, it might overwhelm you, but it was so high energy. And again, the high vocals in this entry, just incredible, especially in that live situation. Next with Italy's entry, so again going back to that band-esque vibe, and I've done a full reaction to this particular entry as well, but what I like about this is the change in tempo. They've really got an interesting running order, I think, this year, and it's nice to see these different kinds of songs back to back. You know, you go from pop dance into something that feels indie, and there are just so many different changes on stage within this semi-final. But this was great just to have the piano and the vocals, the harmonies within this one, so I'm looking forward to seeing this one again at the semi-final on Tuesday. And then on into Azerbaijan's entry. So in the actual arena, the bass here was pumping. I mean, it was overwhelming. And what happened with this particular song, I felt that the bass overwhelmed everything. So we had this super, super catchy chorus with this entry, and there is a lot going on. So there's a lot to look forward to. What I'm most interested in seeing is this on the television rather than actually in person, to see if the balance is there and to see if it just sounds totally different in that different situation. Next was San Marino, and San Marino chose not to have too much going on staging wise, which sometimes can be a good thing. Sometimes it can work in your favour and other times it doesn't. So again, this is going to be one that I'm interested in seeing through the television screen, because you always get that different vibe to when you're watching in person. They will cater certain things to what the audience at home is watching, and we'll talk about that with another entry again later. So this one was fun and up-tempo, and the best thing about this was the audience involvement, the audience interaction, which you can look forward to when watching the semi-final. Albania got such a great reception in the arena. Everyone was cheering Albania on, and there was a great vibe here. I think the use of lighting was incredible, and also strong female vocals. You cannot go wrong with a strong female vocalist. So we spoke about camera work a little earlier, and the Netherlands entry, which is a favourite. I think this is an interesting one because a lot of it is focused on the two-camera performance, and I think that that's going to come across in a totally different way to if you're watching in the actual arena itself. Having said that, I think that Claude's vocal is just phenomenal and a real standout, and totally different from everything that we heard during the dress rehearsal. So I'm super excited for this one. I think that staging wise as well, the differences that they have throughout the whole of the performance are really gonna make it stand out from everything that we see that has come before. Croatia brought another really strong performance to the stage, really strong stage presence and strong vocals, and a really fun, really uplifting song. And so this is going to be a great one to look forward to. I don't know how this is going to come across in terms of the actual vote. I'm really trying to rack my brains thinking about which of these songs is going to qualify. I can't call this, but let me know in the comments box down below, who are you voting for and why as well. But this is definitely one to look forward to. This is going to lift your spirits. Now on to Switzerland. Of course, we are in Switzerland, so there was a big round of applause for the Swiss entry, but rightly so anyway, because this was a really strong ballad. Another ballad of the night. We need a few ballads, we definitely do need that, and this is a beautiful song. I really am looking forward to seeing this one again. A fantastic vocal live, this kind of airy, breathy thing going on, and a beautifully written song as well. Another one where the camera work is really integral to the overall performance. So what we saw looking at the stage was very different to what you will see when you are watching on the television at home. And then finally we had Cyprus, and they used some scaffolding on stage, and it was a really interesting and unique setup, and another kind of lift your spirits song, which I think is a great way to finish the semi-final. So those are all 18 of our performances. Of course, 3 of those are already going through to the final. I'm talking about Spain, Italy and Switzerland, which leaves our other 15. So of those other 15, who are my top 5? So I am definitely picking Poland, Justyna with GAJA. What a fantastic song. This has to qualify. This has to go through to the final. Her high vocals are incredible. The only thing that I hope is that they turn her mic up for the verses tomorrow, because it was a little quiet when we were watching today, but that's what rehearsals are for. But those high vocals, whew, they cut through. She is just a supreme vocalist and performer, and she must go through. Secondly, Tommy Cash with Espresso Macchiato. We have to see this one in the final. This is a strong contender now. I feel like it has all the elements of fun, but also there is something underneath that. There's something about Tommy and his craftsmanship and his expressiveness and everything that he's put into this performance that really deserves a place in the final, and I'm sure that he's going to go through, but he's definitely one of my favourites from the dress rehearsal. Next, I think Ukraine's entry should definitely go through. This is one of my top 5 for sure. Bird of Prey, what a song, and something different on the night. And again, I think that the position that this song is in within the semi-final running order is going to help it in a way. Not that it needs a helping hand, but it just helps to give it that proper platform, and it's just in the right position. And it's a fantastic song live, definitely one of my favourites. Next, no surprise, but I would love for Sweden to go through. I think they're a surefire. I don't think they need any help from me to get through to the final. They are definitely going to go through, but they are such a well-deserved finalist and potential winner. When I say this song stands out live, it really, really does. Everything from the vocals to the staging. Bada bada bastu. I know I'm singing that terribly, but it has to go through. It's just such a fantastic song. So go Sweden. And then finally, and this was so difficult to choose because I do have a few honourable mentions, but my final place in my top 5 is going to go to the Netherlands and C'est la vie. This is a fantastic song, and it feels different in that live situation. Sometimes songs will translate in a certain way from the recorded version into a live setting, and this certainly does that. And I really think that with the staging and the way they're working the camera angles within this one, it's going to talk to the audience in a unique and special way. And it's just a fantastic song with a fantastic singer. So those are my top 5 choices. But as I say, I do have a few honourable mentions, and they are for Norway with Kyle and his song Lighter. I thought this was a really great live vocal and full of energy, full of drama on stage. Just narrowly missing out on my pick of top 5. It's so difficult to put things into a top 5. I have tried, but it is difficult. Hence these honourable mentions. So definitely Norway. And then also Belgium, the high vocals within this entry. Red Sebastian has an incredible voice, an incredible stage presence. I actually walked past him on the way into the media centre today, so there's my little starstruck moment. But he was brilliant, and I cannot wait to see this one live as well. I think it's a really strong contender. So there we go. That's my rundown of everything that happened today within Dress Rehearsal 1 for semi-final 1. and it was a phenomenal show. I wish I could share loads of clips from the actual event, but we're not allowed to film anything. So all I could film from within the arena was beforehand, and I will be doing some future videos featuring those clips, so stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed already, feel free to hit that subscribe button, become part of our family here so you can see my future content, Eurovision and beyond Eurovision. And I will have more Eurovision videos coming out this week, so stay tuned for all of those, and I will look forward to seeing you for semi-final 2 dress rehearsal, my top 5, my predictions, and my rundown of everything that happened. Enjoy Eurovision this week. Let me know your favourites in the comments box down below, and I will see you for another video very, very soon. Love you. Bye.